is about to sell books. This is about the hatred of Donald Trump. This is about distractions and other than the facts. And so when you just let the jury know, listen, there were 11 witnesses here, including two
Here
experts.
we go. It is going to be about him
how a person would behave, psychologists.
This man,
indeed, the subject of this type of behavior. And another one, of course, speaking
just
about
like Hitler, has come in and taken this whole place over because it's all they're talking about.
Million, etc. These lies
and everything that revolves around his bullshit of white supremacy.
Or I should say, the 9 people who are going to get to decide that, obviously, right now, are doing just that.
You can still watch the show. The show is always free. Free 99.
But before we even get into
discount.
either one of these things, I actually want to hear what Ben's going to say about what could be the charges per se that are going to.
So I couldn't agree more with Congressmember Raskin there. And if you look at the recent sentencing memo that the Department of Justice filed in connection with the seditious conspiracy convictions of the Oath Keeper terrorists like Stuart Rhodes and others, it was an omnibus memo of multiple Oath Keepers who were found guilty of either seditious conspiracy or obstruction. When you read the outline of this, it very much reads like what an eventual indictment of Donald Trump could look like. And let me just pull up the sentencing memorandum. And while this is written about the Oath Keepers, again, you could just substitute Donald Trump's name in here and it fits perfectly. So let me explain to you what this says. It says, government sentencing memorandum in motion for upward departure. These defendants were prepared to fight, right? Think about it. Donald Trump was prepared to fight, not for their country, but against it. Not for his country, but against it. In their own words, they were willing to die in guerrilla war to achieve their goal of halting the transfer of power after the 2020 presidential election. As a co-conspirator recognized, their actions made these defendants traitors. And it goes on to say in the factual background section of the sentencing memo, these defendants led and participated in a conspiracy by members and affiliates of a group known as the Oath Keepers to oppose by force the lawful transfer of presidential power from President Donald J. Trump to President-elect Joseph R. Biden Jr. They each agreed to do so by, among other things, preventing, hindering, or delaying Congress's certification of the 2020 presidential election on January 6, 2021, and by using force, intimidation, or threats to prevent members of Congress from discharging their duties that day. And again, just substitute Donald Trump's name there, right? Donald Trump led and participated in a conspiracy in connection with groups like the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys to oppose by force the lawful transfer of presidential power from him to President-elect Joseph R. Biden. They each agreed together to do so to prevent, hinder, or delay Congress's certification of the 2020 presidential election. You see, it applies equally to him. And if you go...
And now let's take a quick break to talk about our next partner.
Okay, hold on. While they go through that, hit their partner there, because I just want to say what he's literally saying here is what they just used to indict all these Oath Keepers. They now have 14. 14. They've never gotten to that level of seditious conspiracy convictions. We're not talking indictments. We're talking full-on goddamn convictions.
Because they grew up with it. They do.
It would be nice if they did hurry up.
And these
let's hurry this shit up.
Reliable Democratic voters
because there's just no reason why they couldn't start with the easiest of all the charges, which seems to be the one for Trump, to get Trump in place.
Again, I went to the argument. You probably get this shit.
I don't even know if you need to go into January 6th right now. I think that could be a later trial.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I think the first thing is just do the goddamn documents, and I think that may be what they're doing.
On that side of the aisle at the time.
Because with the documents, it looks, well, unless they keep finding shit. And that's what it sounds like it's happening. Is they're finding more and more shit. Like, could Donald Trump Trump,
liberalism,
excuse me,
and conservatism. Those
being a
30.
cheap ass like he is,
Are not
have outsourced
ideology.
the camera
Generally, they're either economic
system
societal ideology
that Mar-a-Lago uses to an outside company,
or cult.
therefore
There's so
not
many
retaining
people can
full
have
control
different ideologies
of the
all-
entire security system.
right. This gets real confusing.
See,
when you have
Donald Trump is an idiot.
when you see an interview.
Sorry.
with Trump around-
Just full on, not gonna
yeah, I don't
sugarcoat it. He's a fucking idiot.
like. Yeah, so that.
So it wouldn't surprise me if he did that.
No, I'm not liberal.
And the reason that the FBI were like, hey, calamari boys, get your asses in here,
ideologies all at once, even if you don't even realize it, right?
is because when you actually do, see, one of the things I've worked for a lot of different, in IT,
Is because so many
a lot of different companies. But for the most part, I've worked in transportation
can have
and finance.
ideology that would drive
Now, let me tell you,
drive to a
in
mall,
both those industries, the one thing they don't like
because you
is
know
anybody outside having any looksy-dooksy boopy-booey of any of their systems.
Why are people confused?
They spent
about how this-
80 grand extra to make sure
No idea why people are confused.
at
as to
Matson,
how this can
when they were in Oakland, I think they're in San Jose now. They may still have something in Oakland, only because when I was there, I think they still had 5 years left on the lease, which should be up by now, I believe.
Especially,
But I think they were the last thing. If they did anything like they did the last time when they moved their data center, it took them a year to move their data
the
center.
shooter was not 100.
But at Matson, they spent an extra $80,000 just to make sure that their security system had no externals. In other words, you had to be an employee, you had to go through a VPN in order to get to the system. You could get to it, and we did have an external storage, but we controlled all of it.
The tightrope
From the AWS storage to the actual
to defeat this
LTO storage, where we actually stored the long-term files for 7 years. Yes,
reaches into
7 years. The data on those things were saved for because we had to by
We're not
compliance.
fucking racist, Tony. We don't pander.
But we didn't want anybody else doing it.
So we have to get in these.
But these days, a lot of companies pay outside companies just to take their security off.
just needs to.
That's what ADT and are doing for the most part. They don't make their money off your home crap. I mean, it's good money. It's their profits,
There, right?
but it's not their mainstay. Their mainstay is actually looking at corporate yards.
It's just to piss
All those
them off.
cameras now that are in those yards are now patrolled by electronic systems through companies like ADT.
The easiest fears is
So
of culture.
if Trump was a cheap ass, which wouldn't surprise me, because like I said,
wants to
at
wait
the bank,
because they know that awakes the sleeping bear. And
we
causes
spent
it to not go forever,
$128,000 putting in the security system
because
ourselves.
That's where fascism really
Ourselves, we actually spent more
theory to chaos.
because it actually had to have its own
Own image.
T1
Like,
coming in
and we think
so that we could store.
so let's just
Yeah, the bank was very strange. He wanted to make sure. Well, remember, the banks I've worked for were Bank of America and Bank of the West, so they're big banks.
Right.
And so the way that they store stuff is very, very interesting. And Bank of America,
to the ground.
it was for the Chapter 20 division, not the regular bank. I've never worked for a bank in that division. I've always worked in the Chapter 20 or the high end,
Not trying to make things better.
where the kind of company that Golden Gate Bank and First Republic
That's the
and
way that the fascists want.
Silicon Valley Bank,
You're right about that.
the people that would do trading for them, that's the kind of companies I worked for. So you really wanted to make sure, and these companies were in our trading floor was the pyramid.
And how we
Literally took the largest floor on the pyramid, which was the 5th and 6th floor. That was our trading floor. I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
it can.
in 2023, it is still there because I believe the lease that they had for that space goes through 2030 or 2040. That was one of the biggest things is when they signed that really long-term lease. It basically gave them
What are we selling?
anchorage of that building.
Liberalism. We're selling.
It hasn't. The pyramid has not been filled with Transamerica insurance in years.
bunch of different people.
It's mainly finance companies because it's a
We all do better when we all do better.
status symbol to have the trading floor there.
Uniform.
There's no other reason.
duck walk.
Most companies would put it in a much cheaper building somewhere in the middle of the building, like B of A's old trading floor. It was up high.
Radical ass.
Robbie Stevens' trading floor was up high, but it was not special.
Ideologies, even though we don't actually conform to any.
But then,
we're all going to espouse the same things, and we're all going to wear the same
security. This all could come down
need
to
for the
security.
sentence to afford
Crazy.
adequate general deterrence. And then it says here, the need to deter others is especially strong because defendants engage in acts that were intended to influence the government through intimidation or coercion. In other words, terrorism. And they were leaders of such efforts. Because these defendants not only contributed to the attack on the Capitol, but helped to organize it, their sentences will be noted by those who would foment such political violence in the future. The attack on the Capitol on January 6th was calculated.
The only thing, and see, and some of them have been talking about this too,
red carpet coming out of a subway.
is that maybe
I didn't really pay close attention.
Jack is taking a little bit longer
They had
to get Fani also to do her indictment.
Just spontaneous.
Although I don't care.
Serious, man. It was like,
I don't remember the last time most feds really cared too much about that, but this is going to be a RICO kind of thing.
the whole thing was just
Ugh.
fun.
My fear is timing.
Really scary. To
The justice system is not made for fair timing. It's not. No justice system is.
Bible.
Some are made to go way fast so that you can't get things done, and others are made to move so slow that things actually become gummed up because people forget, things get thrown off. Oh, that was 2 years ago. We were in the middle of this now.
Hard. This liberal
It moves too slow.
that we have. It takes
Very few places are just right.
To interfere with and did interfere with one of the most important democratic processes we have, the peaceful transfer of power. I mean, folks, that pretty much reads like what a seditious conspiracy indictment would look like against Donald Trump in a
Okay, let's go to Gabe and the guys because
midterms
just
about how
terrifies
Hispanics would
this
vote a
is-
certain way that you would never think that they would. They start believing things that they don't, and there's a lot of confusion right now on the internet. And I was speaking to in the first 30 minutes. Me and Paul were kind of
good. This is one of the things I want to talk about too because I think they're going to be perfect.
This person
to
of
listen to and
Hispanic
talk
descent
about, too.
bought neo-Nazi and white supremacy ideology. Right, and somehow people are like, "Well, how can you can't? He can't be, and he maybe can. Wow, he's got the swastika tattooed, and it's
Do
confusing
people
to
forget
some
about
people.
Nick Fuentes? Like, it's very.
Thank you. The guy who just got indicted for seditious conspiracy.
And because of this guy was a watcher of Nick Fuentes.
Thank you. He was he literally looked up to him.
I mean,
tell us what you got. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, you don't go into a tattoo shop and say, hey, let me get those. Well, actually, it's not like you could just go pick it off the wall. I mean, who knows?
Right.
Maybe in that
There might be a tattoo shop
there
somewhere.
might
Very,
be, like,
very few are going to
here's
have
a
it up
tattoo
on the
not to
wall.
get, and
It's
they're like,
something
I
you can
want
get,
that.
but you're going to have to know your
Or,
tattooer.
most likely
Because most of your
it's like
tattooers that would do that are only going to be in your
Nazi
group.
went in
You know what
and
I'm
said,
saying?
Hey, I like those things that are very bad. And then the guy, I'm sure for a certain price, they're willing to do it. There also might be, Nazi sympathizer tattoo artists.
Believe me, there's plenty of sympathizer artists.
Not like those.
Believe me, there are plenty of sympathizer artists.
S-angle. And
Why I've never tattooed someone, so I wouldn't.
Right. But I mean, like if you also think about it, right? Like
if you've got a
it's
few
the most
friends
basic
who
of
know of a
tattoos.
few
It
friends
doesn't
who've
take a
got
lot
a
of
few
creativity
tattoo
to
artists,
do it,
then
and
you
it doesn't take a lot of
know.
precision to do it. It's not like, hey, I'm going to go in and get a
Just
this
like the gay
very,
folks,
very
gay is
fine-tuned
everywhere.
shading, or like get an artist to do something that's very well tuned.
So what you're saying is it's not an accident. It's not an accident.
It's not an accident.
Like someone did a
Especially
rose
how
and
much-
end up looking like Hitler. That's not what happened here.
I mean, you consider how much black ink went into making those tattoos. That's a lot of that would be a long session, if not 2 sessions, to do those tattoos.
No, that's multiple.
that's multiple.
There's multiple.
That's
No.
reshading.
There is, there's no, you
because, like,
can't do
for
that
anyone
one
who
set.
does, like, I've got tattoos on my arms, right? And like, you start with the outline.
Right. It's always
and then you
outlined
fill
and then
in,
you
but
fill
the way
it.
that your
And the
body
fill is
reacts
usually a day
like
or
any
two,
abrasion
or
is going
not
to
a day
raise
or
up.
two.
So
It's usually a
probably
heal
one
up
of those
and
things
then
where he
do
went
the
in for
fill.
2 or maybe 3 sessions.
Right.
because of how quickly your skin kind of bubbles up to a needle scratching across the skin, right? But in terms of like, you know, the Latino or Hispanic population ending up in this pro-fascist Nazi white supremacist movement, like it's not surprising. I mean, like,
No,
you
it's
can
not surprising at all.
anyone, right? Anyone of any color, of any creed, of any
Correct.
religion can be easily indoctrinated and brainwashed
into this
depending
belief
on
that somehow
what they have in their surrounding area, right? Depending on what sites they frequent, what videos they watch, what games they play, whatever it might be. I mean, you have to remember that the way, like for me personally, I'm always dumbfounded, right? I'm always dumbfounded at how someone who comes from the Latino community can do that, right? And in ways I can't understand, right? You've got a group that comes to the U.S. or wants to be a part of the U.S. and wants to be American, and they feel like the only way to assimilate is to adopt those same cultures, those same beliefs, right? You already are an outsider in your area, right? Even for children who have been born first generation students in this country feel like outsiders, like myself, right? Like when I was in high school, there were moments when I wasn't white enough, or I wasn't, you know, Mexican enough, or whatever it was. And, you know, on both sides of the groups, you feel this tug of war where someone doesn't accept you and then the other doesn't accept you. And so you kind of feel like this, you know, you're in the middle.
Jeez.
And, you know, I think it's funny you mentioned that, because this shooter in Allen, Texas actually posted this on a social media site. I think it's called OK. It's like a Russian social media site.
Yeah.
And I'm only showing you part of it here. And it kind of goes to what you're saying, right? And the reason why it's crossing a road and it says, now this is racist as shit, but it says act black or become a white supremacist, right? The one is, oh, it's all sunshine and rainbows over here. The other one that's dark and become a white supremacist. Now, who is crossing this crossroads? Latino children. So this guy posted this shooter posted this on his social media. And maybe it speaks to what his mindset was. Fuck? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe he just thought it was funny.
Wow.
I mean, but it really does seem to be, because he chose white supremacy, that he felt like that maybe he agreed with this, that maybe, and I don't know if he made it or where
right. The way, I'm sure this is, you know, this is a meme that goes for any type of
endorsement from Republican office holders.
Anyone can use
going up, not flat, not down, going up.
Yeah, I mean, Liz Cheney has promised to just essentially serve as a reminder. Hey, remember that Trump did this. Remember that Trump did this, especially on January 6th. But that's already been discussed and debated. To your point, a lot of Republicans obviously know January 6th happened. Some of them have doubts about whether it was an insurrection or whatnot. But people are still lining up behind Trump. It seems like even though that this is a literal reminder and an ad, it might not do much to sway voters. Like maybe remind those independents in the midterms who said,
again, why do we sit here?
I'm sorry. Election. I know that was legitimate.
Level of
because it's like
how society
it's one thing to actually hear
different communities,
people who
right?
are
For the
out
black
here
community, like, oh well, if you act doing this way, a gangbang, or do something this,
but
don't
these
act,
are reporters
how
who are
you
supposed to
proper in
be
society, like
talking to
then you're
all
gonna
of
be
us,
accepted, and that's that's how you want to be.
All
but
we
if you
seem to hear
decide
is
to
their
uphold these white ideologies,
opinion based on numbers that go on. Oh yeah, it's CNN,
the monster, the creature, the thing that people don't like, right?
It's CNN,
and
so we got to remember that
it hurts.
It's going to go along with whatever their new conservatism is, because that's what they're going to.
You have someone from my
see
own
Fox
community
is starting to fall apart. They want a little of
well,
that.
you know what? Here we go. I'm going to shit on the black community while simultaneously shitting on the Latino community,
right?
While also propping up the white community, right? And showing, and you saw this all yesterday too. This or this trying to push this pro-white bias, right? Or rather, trying to push this anti-white bias in the media, misinformation. Elon's been pushing it the whole fucking time.
Right.
The whole time. Ever since the shooting started, you've got fucking Miles
Thank you. Elon, I will scream it every single goddamn fucking the turbo day. Elon Musk is a fucking bigot. If you cannot figure that out by the lawsuits at his fucking company, the company he literally sued his fucking way into. The company that literally was unlucky enough to need money, and he have it. Yeah. If you look at how that company is being run, after the original founders all went, fuck this bullshit, then you don't get that this motherfucker is a fucking bigot. So that's when every time I say, stop with your fucking Twitter bullshit, that's why. Because he's using it as his playground. So stop using the white supremacist playground as a place to go to now. Start looking at the other ones. Yes, unfortunately, it kind of spreads it out amongst all of them. You got to go to the Mastodon. You got to go to the Post. You got to go to the Tribal. Yeah, sorry. I'm even on Spoutable. But that's okay. We shouldn't be sitting here in one fucking space like that. There shouldn't be one goddamn space like Twitter taken up by one goddamn motherfucking racist bitch who was given the money by Middle Easterners. I'm sorry, this is not making any fucking sense anymore.
Yeah, the TurboFem.
Yeah,
exactly.
the TurboFem. I'm just making sure.
Yeah. I mean,
Gacy's
it's always these alpha cucks that are the ones who are like, oh, isn't it so
Thank
weird?
you.
This looks like a red flag. And it's like, no, it's not a red flag. It is what it is. It's true to what happened. And you're trying to find a way to excuse the white supremacy and the fact that you've got Marjorie Taylor Greene go, it's a leftist. The shooter was a leftist.
That's not leftist.
Sorry. I don't think a leftist.
That is not leftist right there. Sorry.
You can even see this is like a fresh tattoo.
Yeah, the SS
you can still see it.
And the swastika. Now, Texas Paul, I want you to speak to this because
Texan.
I don't think a lot of people were commenting on this. Where he has the Texas and the Texas on his shoulder, right? And then
he's got a Dallas tattoo on his hand.
Right.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that Marjorie Taylor Greene. She called it a gang symbol
idiot.
or some shit on the one on his hand. But he obviously had some pride in Texas, right? Like he's from there. He had pride there. But all of a sudden, the white supremacy culture of Texas seemed to seep into this guy. Tell me what you think about
nowhere else in this country. People born and raised in Texas are proud of being from Texas.
Right.
There's a reason there's all this secession talk, because we actually believe we are a separate group of people.
For some damn
we really
reason.
do. We see ourselves as a nationality. So it is not weird.
Kind of like, these, for the Puritans saw themselves, no matter where they were at, as keep thinking about that. Keep thinking like that. There's a reason for this thought pattern. Keep going.
To see Texas tattoos, it is not weird to see, like he had a Dallas tattoo on it. That's not a gang tattoo, folks. That is somebody, the DFW Metroplex, they are very proud of being from DFW. I'm telling you. I am not kidding you. I once made a comment that the area between Dallas and Fort Worth was the butt crack of the Metroplex.
Oh my God.
Good Lord, the hate I got on that.
Oh yeah, it's true. But it's true.
But
because we lived in Texas, and I'm sorry, there was a time I wanted to go back.
We were talking about,
but now
earlier,
there
Paul,
ain't no way I would even.
A lot of things can be
I don't even
true
want to fly
at the
over.
same time. That's why ideology is so.
And I
complicated.
could tell the last time I was there,
because
what,
it's
that
complicated,
was
it makes it easy
2000,
to see. This guy obviously is proud to be from Texas.
2008.
Texas,
it was really changing
go a little
back
further.
then.
Texas
and I
wasn't
could tell.
Texas.
Like,
Texas was
I
Mexico.
don't want to come back here ever again.
Texas was Mexico at one point.
Thank you.
And it gets all confusing and it gets all
don't you understand most of this area
That's a word.
that I'm sitting in was.
But here's the thing: is that I saw some people saying, "Oh man,
that Gabe sitting in was
this guy
Mexico.
Isn't
that Paul sitting in was Mexico?
He is a white supremacist.
The only one who's not sitting in there is Tony.
He's not of the left.
That's the funny
part.
part.
In America, he's of the left in Ukraine. I saw a lot of that shit. Like he's Ukrainian now. He's under Ukrainian ideology, as if there's Nazis in Ukraine.
Me?
I mean, they can't stop stacking the misinformation and the lies, and that's why the ideology can't keep up, right? That's why it can't keep up.
Well, that's how it works, Tony.
Right.
I mean, you don't have happy, well-adjusted people that are following these ideologies.
No,
you're just not.
Hell no.
They are
They're just
designed
crazy.
specifically over. They have
Exactly.
honed this over centuries.
And the other thing is, we've actually, thank you, Republicans, honed our entire public education system to going with this shit. Because we no longer teach kids how to learn. We teach them how to pass a test. That's not teaching. If you're lucky, you might get to a school district that's not doing that. But that dumbs down our kids immensely. Because we were part of the class that was the last to get passed when they decided they were going to put all these tests in place so that they could start controlling how schools, those public schools were getting too good. Can't have these people coming out that are too smart that we can't control. Can't have that.
To target somebody like this shooter he was kicked out of the Army for being mentally unwell.
Mm-hmm.
He is obviously not happy in his life. Things have not gone great for him. He's in his mid-30s working as a security guard. This is their perfect target. And that whole ideology of either act black or go white supremacist really got into his head, because they'll find whatever it is your little sore is, and they will pick at it.
Oh God,
you know, he did not feel comfortable or happy as a Latino. He didn't.
Mm-hmm. I want to make a correction here. It is apparently discombobulated.
What did you say? Like, we shouldn't have to live in fear, right? I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to worry about if I can go see, you know, the fucking, like, what movie's out right now? I shouldn't have
Galaxy.
Yeah, like I shouldn't have to worry to go see that movie this week because I fear that someone's going to go and shoot up the fucking movie theater because of whatever, right? I shouldn't have to sacrifice, or we shouldn't have to sacrifice innocent lives because Republicans want to fuck their guns, right?
Right.
They have some fucking weird fetish where they think guns,
you know, that barrel is not big enough to get your dick into.
Lives, right?
Or is it? And maybe that's the problem.
No, none of that stuff. I shouldn't have to worry.
Sorry, it's just one of those things. Like, yeah,
to a public
he's right.
place.
They just want to fuck their gun.
Fucking assess everybody and be like, all right, I got a guy in my 9 o'clock, my guy in my 2 o'clock. He's local shit. Like that is something that you would see from like someone who was
literally put up with
in the military, who has to go through and assess like any possible targets or threats. Like I shouldn't have to have that.
Gabe, Texas wants to battlefield train 3-year-old or third graders for battlefield triage, for crying out loud. So I mean,
it's the mental health.
Trained in a battlefield.
It's the mental health.
Go out to get a hamburger. You should be prepared to get shot down and killed. I mean, this is, folks. I want to be clear on this PSA. I'm actually not excited about the PSA. In the fact that this perpetuates the white gun culture, it perpetuates the gun culture. That all we can do is see where the
all we can do is run.
How fast you can run to them.
Run.
That is not the only thing we can do. You need to yell and scream and say we shouldn't
fuck
have
this
these
bullshit. Get rid of these goddamn white supremacist GOPers. You can get your party back.
You motherfuckers.
Get your fucking party back. Get it out of the hands of these goddamn KKK and white supremacist idiots. Put some truth back into it. Put some fucking science back into it. Put some reality back into what the fuck you're conserving. Because right now all you seem to be is conserving white fucking grievance and white supremacy. And white conservatives, white grievance doesn't work. Ask, oh, you can't. He's dead. Oh, you can't. He was hung by his. Oh, you can't. He was in a. Oh, no, he was in a hole. No, oh, yeah. Nah, it doesn't work. Sorry. Why do you keep trying?
You just vote for us.
And failing over and over. Guess the definition of okay. I try not to say that it's not mental health. But sometimes you over and over, the more you think about it, the more it's like, how the hell?
Stick them up your fucking ass.
Do you live a life of just bullshit, of complete and utter everything about your goddamn life is bullshit? But I guess if you've been indoctrinated into it from the get-go, where you are literally said to make sure that a religion that is all about faith and belief, bullshit, and I got no proof,
We have this PSA from the FBI, which I don't like.
then you can do anything with bullshit and I got no proof.
Telling me that now I have
Just like you ain't got no proof there was no fraud. Nope, ain't got none. But that's okay because I feel, which is as good as I believe. I ain't got no proof, but I don't give a fuck, is what you say. I believe. I ain't got no proof, but I don't give a fuck because I'm right. That's what believe means. Sorry.
That's it. Those are the only things on my fucking mind right now.
Means you ain't got no proof. Because if you got some proof, then you just, over here. Here's proof. Here you go. Just look over here. Here's the, Nope. What you got is you got everything that points to a goddamn fucking white supremacist criminal who everybody only stands behind because he's just white supremacist enough. He's just conservative enough. He's just Hitler-esque enough.
I have to be the good guy. Even with
Sounds like a cult to me.
You know that even with the gun, the good guys don't do shit. We saw it in Uvalde. We saw it even at in the Nashville school at the Covenant, right? In the Presbyterian school. There were 2 teachers on staff or 2 staff members that roll in fucking they have guns. And they didn't do shit, right? They had to wait for the police to show up and actually do it. So we as a society should not have to have the expectation, the pressure from everyone else to say, well, if a gunman comes in, you have to be the solution. This isn't fucking like,
this is the
like,
Terminator.
Right, but it's also not like only you can prevent forest fires. Only you can stop a mass shooter. No.
That's where we're going. That's where we're going. We're going to have a cartoon character that's going to tell us.
Well, I tell you, that's
ridiculous.
Surprisingly, that is not where we're going, Tony.
You don't think
guys
so?
like me, I love my guns. I do.
Right.
I love my guns. I've grown up shooting. Yeah, I've grown up shooting. I lost my hearing to competitive shooting. I'm telling you, I've got the bona fides. Yeah, fuck you.
What? Huh? What was that?
Take them.
Yeah.
Take them. Take every last one of them.
It's not worth it.
If me having those guns means that fucking 3rd graders have to learn battlefield triage in fucking school,
and that's bullshit. Thank you.
Every last motherfucking one of them and shove them up your ass. That's the way I feel about it. I have guns that belong to my father. I have guns that belong to my grandfather. Take every last motherfucking one of them. If the choice is I keep those or fucking kids learn how to use a goddamn tourniquet.
Yeah, thank you.
Take every last motherfucking one of them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being. Thank you.
There's been a sea change. There really has. Righties don't see it. They're still running their mouths. They are.
They don't
see the change that's happening. And I've warned them over and over again, if you want to keep your guns, be responsible. Accept things like registration.
Right.
Accept things like red flag laws.
Thank you. Just simple laws.
Or you're going to lose
Because what we really need is we need license and registration, please.
High. And the reaction
it needs to be registered, it needs to be licensed, and it needs to be insured, just like your fucking car.
Participated.
Do that with all this shit, and boy, that would change a lot.
Take them. Take them all. From everybody. Every last one of them. Melt them down and make fucking steel out of them.
Make new jewelry.
Make aluminum out of them.
Make new buildings out of them.
Just, that's where everybody is, Tony. That really is where the majority of people... They're just sick of this. They're just tired of it.
I think you're right. I've said it before.
True.
If the 2A bros don't get to the table and start, excuse the pun, laying down their guns, laying down their arms, and start having real conversations about how they're going to keep their guns in some form or fashion, these generations that are coming up aren't going to do it. They're just not. You've tortured them. You're going to torture
all the way
them
through
their
school. I
entire
couldn't
childhood.
imagine.
They're
It
not
was
gonna let
bad
their
enough
kids and their
having the
grandkids
fire
be
alarm
tortured.
go off.
And they're going. I'm telling you.
Well, we knew
you
the drill was coming.
motherfuckers, the
Literally,
two-way roads
they would
out
say
there,
at the
I'm speaking
beginning
to
of the
you.
month, we're going to have
You
a
think
drill
that
on
this thing
blah,
is
blah, blah
uninfringible,
day.
There's nothing you can do, and we can have whatever.
It'd sit
guns
on the
we want, whatever
calendar.
we
You
want.
knew
It's
it was
all
going to
right.
be there.
God gave it to
and
us.
it was still annoying
We're
as
into
shit.
a world of hurt in this
But
next
now
20, 30 years.
to
when
think
people-
about somebody
there's
coming in
real
with a
movements
gun?
to repeal the Second Amendment. I'm telling you, it's coming. People are going to say it. They're sick and tired of your shit. They're going to.
I mean,
You won't even do the polite thing to make sure that the right people who have the ability to have guns have guns. You're not even willing to talk about that. So I'm telling you,
much less what should be
ain't gonna like
licensed,
and this country's gonna go with them because Texas
and
Paul is right.
insured
People do not want that
equipment,
stupid fucking PSA.
just like your goddamn
when
car.
You're ordering a goddamn hamburger, you got to worry about the fucking exits for you and your family. It's fucking ridiculous.
You want to go shop for the hamburger if you want to do it at home.
Battlefield trained to go out in public, grab a drink, or have a meal with your family, or go to church, or go grocery shopping, or go to H&M and buy a
He's
pair
right.
of
It's just
fucking
crazy.
shoes.
This is the
People
nutso.
are not. It's gonna stop one way or the other. So you choose to, bro, because it's the culture. Because if the NRA membership and these fucking slugs out there who think if you talk about gun control, then you're treasonous, you dumb sons of bitches. I'm telling you, if you don't pluck your head out of your ass and come to the negotiating table, we are going to shut you out of the negotiating table. You are not going to get a seat. And at this point, I'm saying you're not fucking welcome at the negotiating table. I don't even want to hear from your ass. If your ass can't even be reasonable about what guns and who's got them, then you're not even.
Why do we need weapons of war on the streets? You cannot use them for anything else but killing. It makes no goddamn sense. And I'm sorry, I don't understand why the right is so heavily on this shit. It's like if
I fear
one person in their group,
and I just want to.
This is how follow the leader they seem to be. Says this is the way to go.
The unfortunate reality that the expectation I have on Republicans is that if there was a shooting and one of their family members were the victims,
right,
either shot or killed, whatever it might be,
90% of the time,
I unfortunately have the expectation, and I'm sure you guys too, is that if they were the victims and were killed by the hands of a mass shooter, they wouldn't do anything.
Right. 90% of the time they wouldn't. They would be a Steve Scalise.
What it is, and we can't do anything about it.
They'd be a Scalise. Still
it's like fucking
dreadful,
right?
Homophobic, bullshit, white supremacist artist who doesn't seem to understand who the fuck saved his goddamn life. Oh, because some Bernie bro, who was also having...
Oh, well,
the same bullshit.
That ability
that these people are not taking away his
you know exactly why, because
it's the same bullshit. Right, left doesn't matter when you're that extreme
problem, and will not do anything
because it just comes back to the same circle.
Fucking Tim Burchett out of Tennessee.
That's not the world we live in.
Hedge ask here on
the TV show you watch is not reality.
Well, we call it.
I don't care if they do say it's reality TV. It's not.
Burchett, where I call him Representative Burchett.
If you're a Republican, you're Representative Burchett.
Is this guy? Is one
turn
of
off your TV and look around your house. That's reality TV.
It is what it is. Say a lot.
That's reality TV.
And it's like no.
And the unfortunate part is sometimes it's just not real enough for you.
Thoughts and prayers. It's not just.
Well, speaking of thoughts and prayers, here's Ted Cruz.
This is not real, by the way.
This should be fun.
What, the message or that he copies and pastes?
No. This was debunked that it was all him every time.
What do you mean?
Like this somebody made this graphic a while ago, and they're look how many times this has been like copy pasted by Ted Cruz. It turns out that it was just it's a graphic that somebody made and it was debunked.
Right, but he does post this.
No. What I'm saying
what it is I'm agreeing with what Gabe is saying. This is out there, and I was going to say that this has been debunked as it's not really Ted Cruz posting these, but it's identical to what he said.
Right. That's what it's saying. It is exactly what he does say.
That is just real.
That's the thing. Right. It doesn't matter.
What Gabe is saying is absolutely true. If
yes, we know it, but it's still what he says.
Got shot, he would put out the same fucking statement and keep on rolling.
It's the thing is, it may not
Trump
be
said that, right?
exactly.
His ugly wife. You didn't say that.
Right.
Trump said.
You know what?
Right.
If he won't stand up to Trump, he won't stand up to me. So fuck it. She's ugly.
Oh my God, I love it.
Hey, what are you going to do?
Thank you.
But
But you're right.
They
You're
won't
right.
do shit. They won't stand up for their loved ones.
Nope.
They won't defend their family members.
Nope.
And if their family members were the victims
Sorry, we're
of a
going
mass
to go off
shooter,
in about
they would
4
stop,
minutes here because I
shrug
came
and
on a
say,
little late
"Well,
because
that's what
my
God
server
wanted. What
crashed
happens? It is what it is." And they
last
wouldn't do
night, and I
anything.
couldn't tell because
then
I
they'd be
didn't
like, "Oh,
look
man,
at it
I'm
this
gonna-
morning like an idiot.
I'm going to make
before I
sure that
started.
people have access to more guns, and I'm going to make sure that it's written in an acronym that is the spelling of my family member's name, like some dumb shit like that. I guarantee it. I guarantee they would do something. They would fucking put a poor memory of their family member by making sure that more people had guns. Well, we're going to fucking arm the kids now. We're going to make sure that in that tourniquet kit on the wall that's, needs a step ladder for the kid to get up to, there's going to be a fucking 9mm right there.
Oh my
right?
God.
Already loaded, cocked, ready to
Here, ready to go.
Speaking of Florida men, I'm going to move on here. And sorry, I don't mean that as a shitty transition, but what are you going to do? Speaking of a Florida man, he's going to be on CNN. It's a special Florida man.
I'm not
He's
gonna
be on CNN for a town hall.
not gonna
bullshit, man.
not
Can
gonna.
you
Such
believe though? Hey,
bullshit.
actually, I'm buying into this CNN thing. Here's why.
You know who called him out back in 2018? So when I was doing the what was that for the Correspondence Center back in 2018, Michelle Wolf was like, Don't laugh it off, man. You guys are addicted to Trump. You guys have to.
Thank you.
Shit.
Exactly.
And she called out everyone. She was like, "You guys."
Oh, you mean
are
CNN specifically?
Yeah.
Right.
She was like, "You guys are all dependent. You created this thing.
Hello.
You amplified.
Morning
it,
Joe
now
and
you're dependent on
CNN
it.
amplified
So
almost every fucking thing he did.
You're too
Down
good
to
for
the
it.
stupid
Fucking-
thing where they'd
you're
have
in
the
there
Trump
with them. You are the ones who
lectern
are
sitting
fucking
there in the
bolstering.
corner of
She
their
called him out.
goddamn
I mean,
screen
it was a beautiful
for a
moment.
fucking
Everyone,
half
that's-
hour.
Like, no, don't.
What
don't
bullshit?
Stop. You're part of the
Right,
problem.
don't growl at me.
All of you
Here's
guys
the
did
funny
that.
part, is he's going to New Hampshire, right? It's going to be on CNN. And
He's going
somebody.
back to New Hampshire.
Well,
Just
right,
New Hampshire?
right.
Whoa,
Whatever.
frustrating
So he's
as
going to
fuck.
New Hampshire to do this town hall on CNN. Somebody, and CNN, I don't know, maybe this is the brilliance of it. CNN just sold a huge ad spot to somebody, maybe not named Darth Vader Jr. It's possible. Let's take a look at this commercial that's going to play during the town hall on CNN.
Donald Trump is the only president in American history who has refused to guarantee the peaceful transfer of power. He lost the election and he knew it.
To become the president.
He betrayed millions of Americans by telling them the election was stolen.
Stop the
He
steal.
ignored the
No,
rulings
you
of
did
dozens
not.
of
You
courts.
ripped
Rather
people
than
off.
accept his defeat, he mobilized a mob to come to Washington and march on the Capitol. Then he watched on television while the mob attacked law enforcement, invaded the Capitol, and hunted the vice president. He refused for 3 hours to tell the mob to leave. There has never been a greater dereliction of duty by any president. Trump was warned repeatedly that his plans for January 6th were illegal. He didn't care, and today he celebrates those who attacked our Capitol. Donald Trump has proven he is unfit for office. Donald Trump is a risk America can never take again.
The Great Task is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Who
I gotta
is?
give CNN one thing on this.
Yeah.
Is they've really pulled the curtain back. They don't give a shit about the country. They don't
Nope.
give a shit.
They don't give a
have
fuck
no
about anything but
responsibility.
making money.
They are there for
They
fucking
are there to
drama.
make fucking bank.
They are there to sell ads.
Yep. They are there to
that is
make
it.
money.
That
is
is
it.
it.
The
They have
end. Fuck your
lost also-
country.
you know,
fuck
back in the
everything
day
else.
when we grew up,
about
Tony,
you,
news, there was
fuck you,
responsibility.
Britain,
News
fuck
was
all
a
of
lost
you.
leader because people were responsible and people needed
Boy,
to be
Ted
informed as
Turner
to what
would
was
be-
going on. Gone.
Now, Ted
It's
did
all gone.
want to make
It's
money,
all
but
entertainment.
really,
You know, at least CNN's being honest. You know, you've got a guy that's an insurrectionist. You've got a guy that tried to steal the presidency and create fascism. But hey, fuck it. We can sell some ads.
yeah, we'll sell some ads. Well, he's doing good in the polls.
CNN is
I
total
don't-
trash.
Fuck you.
GOP light. Of course.
Fuck
I
you.
mean, someone's got to pick up
Matter
the
of
slack
fact,
for Fox
I've
News
got- you
now
know
that they're
what?
potentially
I
going to
think
be out of
maybe
business.
today is
I
a
don't
good
know.
day to say, you
But
know
it's
what?
one of those things. It's
Just don't
Fox,
use them today.
CNN, you know,
Stay
I mean,
off of
obviously,
it.
because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, the new CEO of CNN is very, you know, he's pro-right.
Very right.
You know,
Very right, from whatever.
it unfortunately goes to what Texas Paul is saying, is where it's like you have a person who's running the network,
Right.
and you have broadcasts that are done in support or are lenient or are light or are easygoing on the former president, despite the fact that we know that, I mean, like he's, we're waiting to hear back from the jury on the E. Jean Carroll defamation lawsuit. There's the Georgia the investigation case right now. There's, Jack Smith on Mar-a-Lago and also Jan 6. There are all these different things. And CNN goes, you know what? The guy's had a hard rap. I mean, we should give him a second chance. Maybe he'll turn a new leaf and maybe he'll give us all what we want. And even though that's not what they really believe, because they know that Trump is, he's a traffic pusher, right? He is someone that if you mention his name, he's going to push traffic. He's, whether you say shit about him in terms of being
a pain in the ass piece of shit,
him, or you're in support of him, whatever it is. The unfortunate reality is the guy does get traffic, and CNN sees that as an opportunity to say, well,
we're going to make
over people, right? Money over democracy, and for us commentators, it's not the same, right? We can call it out. We can blast the bullshit that they're having, but to be someone who has a major news network, right, that runs nearly 24 hours a day.
24 hours a day.
Right?
No, they've got, but it's not just CNN. It's CNN International,
and also on.
And they've
TV.
got actual bureaus in EU and other places.
It's funny that
actually do the news for news.
I look at CNN and I say,
it's just here they need to make profit.
As a media,
you guys don't understand that the American system is just ripping us off.
Give a little screen
from pharmaceuticals through our goddamn hospitals.
Enough, right?
Some of them make their goddamn money off of us.
The ability to do a town hall dedicated to him for
because
an hour, 2 hours, whatever.
Because they wouldn't be for not for profit in every other country.
Why
they still operate,
doing
but
that
they know
than the fact that
they will make their money up here.
Money. Well,
let me challenge. Let me push back a bit, because Texas Paul, let me ask you: isn't there some good in for the entire country to see how much of a lunatic this guy has become?
No, we'll fucking destroy this guy for this. He is, I mean, we will fucking destroy him. But that's not the point. The point, Tony. You know who made the same exact mistake?
Who's that?
The Germans.
Yeah.
Well, the Germans made the same exact mistake. Hitler went to fucking jail. And they had the chance to cancel that guy, and they didn't. They let him come out. They let him keep talking. And here we are. History is what it is.
Well, speaking of Hitler talking, Gabe, can you? I'm going to pull up one of his posts today, but can you get me a link to his fraud social account, because he's got a bunch of them. I'm sure he's been fucking messaging on there since we started. But here's the one this morning. Everyone keeps circulating the one around about the verdict in the E. Jean Carroll trial, but I think this one's actually more significant, Texas Paul, leading to his criminal legal woes here, because he says Bill Barr was a sloppy, lethargic mess as the Attorney General.
Let him come. He is, I mean, we will fucking destroy him. But that's not the point. The point, Tony. You know who made the same exact mistake?
Who's that?
The Germans.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The Germans made the same exact mistake. Hitler went to fucking jail.
Thank you.
And they had the chance to cancel that guy, and they didn't.
I have been saying the same thing since he came down that fucking escalator. I could see it coming. Michael Moore saw it coming. I thought it was bullshit. I thought, nope, nah. We went through 68. We don't need to go through this shit again. Ooh, chow. Not only do we need to go through it, we need to go through it even worse. Because I agree with him. Our Reichstag moment is the fucking Supreme Court now being completely stacked. Are we sitting here in the middle of a fucking history in which fucking Donald Trump comes back and this entire system is fucked? Because the minute he's back, every law is kaput. It's gone. We're done. The end. Because they've got the courts now, so they'll just change it to be in line with the court's feelings. Because if you didn't notice, That's the reason women have no rights right now, is because a bunch of men on the court feel like this. Oh, yeah, well, there's one woman, but she's a religious nut. If you actually understood the bullshit she believes in her religion, because I call bullshit on all you guys in your fucking religion. None of you believe that bullshit. Not a one of you. Not a fucking one of you. Because if you do, then you're fucking delusional. It just proves that you're delusional. Sorry. Or you'll believe anything. And that's another problem. You will believe that without any proof, this white dude won this because that's what I believe.
They let him come out. They let him keep talking. And here we are. History is what it is.
Well, speaking of Hitler talking, Gabe, can you? I'm going to pull up one of his posts today, but can you get me a link to his fraud social account, because he's got a bunch of them. I'm sure he's been fucking messaging on there since we started. But here's the one this morning.
Bill Barr was sloppy.
One around about the verdict in the
lethargic mess.
I think this
as the Attorney General,
leading to his criminal legal woes here, because he says Bill Barr was a sloppy, lethargic mess as the Attorney General. I don't know what that means. He's saying he's fat. Like an attorney general can't be fat. I mean, he picked him.
I like.
Right?
I also did.
This was your. It wasn't even your first pick.
I just want to point out
he was not your first pick. He was your third.
That were previously in his administration, right? That he handpicked. As he says, I only have the best people.
And this was his third.
People.
Yeah.
Every one of those people, even Kelly, Kellyanne Conway, even recently, it was Kayleigh McEnany. He shit on her because she's supporting DeSantis right now. So it's funny to see him put all these motherfuckers on blast, which is great. Well, fucking eat each other. Fucking, I love it. Infight, whatever. But it's funny to see this guy who says, I only hire the best and I'm draining the swamp. And then as soon as they don't support him or they say something that isn't too nice about him, he's like, oh, fuck you. And then talks about how shitty this person is. It's like, well, if this person was shitty, they've probably always been shitty. That means that you intentionally put someone shitty on your staff or in his advisor or in the administration. So what does that say about you?
Right. Well, I think Bill Barr is really shitty. In Texas Paul, he goes on to say, he says he was lazy as hell, petrified of the radical left Democrats and the fact that they were going to impeach him. I wish they had, which would have meant that he was doing his job, which he wasn't, which that leads me to this point as why I think. Because Bill Barr,
what the hell?
Can you find the not only the
hold on one more time? What was that?
Left Democrats and the fact that they were going to impeach him? I wish they had, which would have meant that he was doing his job, which he wasn't. Which
what
that leads me to this point as why I think. Because Bill Barr, Gabe, can you find the not only this but the clip of Bill Barr disparaging him?
Yeah.
But he says this specifically, Texas Paul. Bad on election fraud. And just about everything else he touched. Sloppy Bill is now a human soundbite along with Karl Rove. Wow. Wacky Peggy, I hate Reagan, Noonan, Paul Ryan for Rupert Murdoch and his anti-Trump, just like 2016 Wall Street Journal Plus. What? I don't understand a lot of this. But I think what he's getting at, and I think what he's scared of, is the fact that Bill Barr is publicly speaking out against, he's a fucking dummy. Not only that, he did try to steal the election. He tried to steal it, and Bill Barr's saying, he tried to steal it. That's why I quit.
He did try.
I don't want to go to federal
because
prison.
Remember, the first...
He wasn't willing to go to federal prison for Donald Trump.
The first... wasn't... Yeah, I believe it was. Trying to make sure in my head that there wasn't another one. But if I'm not mistaken, the very, 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 very
that's why Donald Trump's upset.
On the January 6 hearings, the very first shit that was heard around the world was Bill Barr.
Then what do you think? Texas Paul?
Yeah, I mean, he was willing to suppress reports. He was willing to rewrite reports. He was willing to lie. He was willing to do anything and everything.
Bullshit his way all the way through.
Right up to the edge.
To the end.
And then he wouldn't step off with Donald Trump. because there was that shot that this coup wasn't going to be successful. I guarantee you, if the coup had been successful, Bill Barr would still be there with him, would be carrying his water, explaining exactly. Bill Barr is no fucking patriot. He is not.
No.
He is a
He also is another one of those, dude. If you understand his religious beliefs, you understand. They don't have a belief because it's not based on anything in reality. It's
Donald
just
Trump
bullshit.
Keeps getting people around him
made
that
up
are
their
worse
own
and
world
worse
of
and
religion
worse
and all
worse.
this other shit. Sorry.
The people that will do awful things up to a point.
Worse, you mean worse than Bill Barr?
Yeah. His next attorney general will not give a fuck about the law.
Okay, let's play pretend. Let's pretend like the worst in the world happens, and he gets to pick an attorney general. Gabe Sanchez, who do you think he picks? What's your guess? Who do you think it is?
Oh,
Matt Gaetz.
The worst thing you can think of.
Worst person? I'm trying to think like who's a reality.
Texas Paul, what about you? Why Gabe's thinking here?
Ken Starr.
Ken Starr?
No,
Ken
Matt
Starr.
Gaetz.
Sanchez?
Ken Starr will do anything.
Gary Busey.
I was thinking Tom Fenton. He'll have Tom Fenton be the attorney general. That fucking
I can see that.
weirdo
I can
who
see
thinks
that.
he's some kind of lawyer and he's not a lawyer. Speaking of shitty lawyers, here's
But
Bill
after you
Barr.
play this, because I want to call Bill Barr on the bullshit. After you play this, I want you to play another clip that I just found.
Is it the one from Aaron Rupar down at the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's play
hold
this.
on, I wanna see
This
it.
one is the one that Trump is upset about. Well, Trump is upset that Bill Barr wouldn't overturn the election for him. He's really upset about that. And that Bill Barr wouldn't go to prison for him.
Right.
Remember, he laughed all of that shit out.
Right.
Like during the Jan 6 deposition, he called it.
Yeah,
he called fucking 2,000 Mules bullshit.
Horseshit?
Yeah.
Horse
No,
shit.
he bullshit.
He called bullshit.
We called it bullshit.
Well,
It's
it'd
like,
be
oh,
better
that's
if it was
full-on
horseshit or
bullshit.
mule shit. You know
Yeah,
what I
he
mean?
said
I'm
it
just
was
saying,
bullshit.
in the same wheelhouse. Let's listen to Bill Barr disparage Donald Trump because this is fantastic. I can't get over this. This is great.
Apologies to our friends at WKSU. We're going to do one last question.
I'll go on your show, Geraldo.
Yeah. And this man knows that we're coming up against the top of the hour here, too.
I am honored. I'm honored to be here. And General
that's
Barr, you really
gross.
are my favorite
Honored
person.
the fuck
in
out of here.
Washington. I was filled with admiration for the way
He's got his shirt on at least.
being relatively friendly with the president. The way.
All right.
the world-
Enough of the.
yeah,
Gee, ask your question.
more serious than maybe some of your remarks, but you are my favorite person.
Oh my
I think
God!
the most
They
honest
just-
person.
Oh my
suck,
God!
suck,
Shut
suck,
the
suck.
fuck up!
For you, given
Shut
that.
the fuck sucking
Okay,
up!
you made mistakes, and okay, January 6th, and okay, this and that.
Oh my God!
Policies that we'd be voting for as a candidate.
They otherwise would be
And that Gabe Sanchez.
further back. Anything lead to a not delivered and
No
to a
microphones. Keep
horror
going.
show.
Keep going.
Or how to get things done in the system.
Yeah, there's no cameras,
It
no
is a
microphones. Keep
horror
going.
Show when he's left to his own devices, and so you may want his policies, but Trump will not deliver Trump policies. He will deliver chaos, and if anything, lead to a backlash that will set his policies much further back than they otherwise would be.
And that Gabe Sanchez, I don't know, somehow Texas Paul. That is why I want Donald Trump to be the nominee.
No, it's gonna. I mean,
because of this, we can run this.
I mean, everyone on the Republican side is making the ads for us.
Thank you. We don't even have to make them.
Make a montage. You throw some clips in of stuff you want to highlight. You have a voiceover. I mean, you look at fucking Liz Cheney, what she just did, right? She voiced over, but just use fucking footage from Jan 6.
That's all she had to do.
Jan 6. You play Bill Barr. You play every one of these people who shit on Trump and distance themselves because they're actually in support
maybe I'll make
of
up an
DeSantis
ad.
because they see that as a path forward because he's
Maybe
not
I'll
currently
do an
under
ad. That's a
fucking
good
10 different
idea.
investigations at the same time, right? They see a way out with DeSantis, even though putting fingers, high heels wearing DeSantis isn't actually the path forward.
White boot high
But they need to distance themselves.
White
and as
boot
soon as
high
they
heel,
do
baby.
that, as soon as they put a line up and say, I don't want to be associated with Trump, at least publicly anymore, right? In terms of a presidency run or candidacy, Trump shits on them, right? And boom, that bridge is burned.
Right.
Well, yeah, show that. I'll show that post. I'll show this video. I'll show this interview. I'll play that podcast.
Just rack
I'll
them
show
up
this
on these.
tweet.
That's
Whatever
right.
it is.
When we get to the general election, we can pound them with their own words. And because I'm going to show this clip from another clip from Bill Barr. I'm saying, and it's probably going to say almost the exact opposite of what he was saying. I think it's what you're.
Well, this is the problem that they all have, especially Paul Ryan. Right? It's their inability to say, "I won't vote for Trump."
Right.
Trump is a loser.
Right.
He's
Why
a loser.
can't they
We
say
lost
that?
2018, 2020, 2022.
I won't
and if
vote
we're with
for
him
it.
again, we're going to lose 2024.
Right. Exactly.
However, they're like, but with that being said,
I'll still vote for
it. But I'll vote for the candidate. What if Trump's the candidate?
So, Texas Paul, what did you think of Bill Barr absolutely axing up Trump in that clip? I think you had some technical difficulties there or something.
Yeah, sorry about that. I lost my connection there. Bill Barr is just sorry. I mean, even if you go back to his before he actually worked with Trump, he's been a sleazebag forever. I mean, this guy is a freaking windsock, man. Wherever the Republicans are going is where his morals and characters are. The character is, and it does not matter, man. He is useless. And I want my vote back. I said Ken Starr. I forgot he died. The audience caught that. I appreciate you guys. I totally forgot the guy died.
You don't think he would nominate someone who's dead?
Oh, I forgot about that.
I want to change my vote to Aaron Hawley, Josh Hawley's wife.
Oh, okay. Do you remember when Trump didn't know who
I think my Chrome just crashed on my computer.
And he's like, Frederick Douglass. A lot of people are saying a lot of good things about him. Or like he didn't know he died.
Do you think that was that his African American?
Well, I mean, at the time, because they were in a meeting.
Right. No, but I'm saying, like, how he's like, and my African American. Like, do you think that's who he thought his African American?
Maybe he thought his name was. It's possible his name was Frederick Douglass.
Maybe it was Clarence Thomas. I don't know. It could have been. I mean, we know Harlan Hitler says that.
Right. Well, here's Harlan Hitler's friend. I bet
Harlan Hitler's friend.
Hitler.
Oh, yes.
He is the living embodiment of weaponizing the DOJ. He is a real scumbag.
He's a fucking
Chrome
scumbag.
just said it's going to crash.
But let's listen to hear how he's going to say different than what he said in the last clip.
Documents. Those are serious.
That's serious. That's a serious.
Well, I said that I personally think that they probably have the case for legitimately indicted.
I'm Ben Meiselas from B Midas Touch Network.
But given what's gone on, I think they probably have the evidence that would check the box. They have the case.
So he's a criminal.
If they have it, should they?
That's a decision for.
If you were AG, would you?
No, because you protected. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get into that.
I think it's becoming incredible.
Did you see that look on his face? Did you see that look on his face when she asked that question?
Arizona.
Come on. Have you ever met me? I mean,
let me see if I can get this loaded again. God damn it. Okay, here we go.
That's an important.
Oh, fuck.
Wow.
You gotta be kidding me, man.
Wow.
Really? In the middle of the show? What the fuck's going on with the internet?
I mean, we're all in suspense.
I know.
I'm waiting to hear him say the words, man.
What are the words?
What are the words?
Because this is not gonna play.
Yeah.
I'll load it in.
It just won't play. That's crazy.
And let me see.
That's serious. Roland was going to have to make that call.
Here we go. God damn it. Every time I make it bigger. Every time I make it bigger.
That's what. Never mind.
That's not what she said, baby. She went, ha ha. That's what she. No, not to me. Not to me.
Yeah, bullshit.
Fuck both of you. All right.
That was good. That was perfect.
Let me see if I can load this in directly.
Okay. Well, see if you can get that one loaded in. While we're waiting on that, let me go to Grandpa's True Social page. And the reason why
somebody put Viagra in the comments. I'm sorry, folks. I'm old. Viagra don't make it any bigger.
It just makes it go up.
You still only got the fishing pole you came with.
Thank you, Texas Paul. Thank you.
Yesterday, Texas Paul, we did a 20-minute bit on butt deodorant, and now today here we are talking about boners.
All right, I got the video loaded in.
Okay. All right, let me go.
Let him finish this, and then I'm going to probably
let me go to the video. Let's see if we can get to that spot.
Documents. Those are serious.
That's a serious.
That's serious.
That's a serious.
Well, I said that I personally think that they probably have the basis for legitimately indicting the president. I don't know. I'm speculating.
You're speculating, yeah.
But given what's gone on, I think they probably have the evidence that would check the box. They have the case.
And if they have it, should they?
That's a decision for.
If you were AG, would you?
I'm not going to get into that.
Do you think they will?
I think it's becoming increasingly more likely.
And you think it would be appropriate?
Increasingly more likely.
This is what the Attorney General gets paid, these kinds of decisions.
Increasingly
the
likely.
For doing it is that if you let someone like this who, if the facts are as raw as they may be, and you let someone get away with it, how can you protect these secrets? How can you insist on people in government taking this stuff serious?
Are you listening, Georgia?
So, that's an important thing to weigh.
Georgia, are you listening?
Well what the
Hello?
do to the country.
The Attorney General of the United States. Twice.
He's going to have to make that call.
Yeah, he was brought in to clean shit up.
For the Republican Party.
Remember that.
Would you support him?
He's the cleanup master. He's telling you guys not to do that because it's too late. That's what that face is. That face is it's too late. Okay? Yeah. See, guys, we want to take it all over, but we can't do it like this because it won't work. Because in order to work, I got to keep my money and I got to keep my power. So this one won't work.
Well, I'm just hoping it never comes to that because I think it would be a tragedy if he's our nominee, if he's the Republican nominee.
Could you vote against him? Could you vote not for the Republican if Donald Trump were the Republican nominee?
Well, again, I think it gets down to what I said, which is I would have to make the judgment at that point the impact on the country, and I'll have to see what's going on in the world, who the Democratic nominee is. If it's a progressive Democratic nominee, I can't imagine voting for
But
it.
ideologically progressive versus somebody who orchestrated an attack on the Capitol, who betrayed his oath to the Constitution.
Who that? Well, okay, excuse me. I'm sorry. I just what part of Joe Biden is progressive? See, that's my problem. Y'all talk about this progressive bullshit. It ain't progressive. It's just that it ain't about white supremacy. And as long as it ain't about white supremacy, then it's progressive. Y'all understand that? It's like that woke. All I'm hearing is the N-word, and I'm not going to say it today because I am live. But on the podcast, I say it all the time because that's all I hear when I hear woke. I just hear...
Depending on...
Yeah, of course I would. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? I fucking hate that guy, but why wouldn't I vote for him? What the fuck?
And
Why
again,
not?
Paul Ryan's the same way, right? The idea that they're asked the question, would you vote for Trump?
You vote for anybody else
we can't back
besides
Trump because he's a loser, right? We've lost all these elections. It's because of him.
Would you vote for him,
We fucked
Paul?
over
Would you
ourselves,
vote for him?
but would you vote? Well, it depends. I mean, I'll vote for the Republican nominee.
Fuck outta here.
What if he is the Republican nominee? And they're like, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. It's really
Tony,
an easy thing to answer.
we've talked about this multiple times about this is what they did for the last several decades.
Right, exactly.
They made the Democrats an
They
unacceptable
moved to
option.
the
It doesn't
right,
matter
and they
what the
moved it so
policy is.
far to the right, they
The
can't
policy
go any
doesn't
far
matter.
right.
They engaged in this culture war that we did not engage in. They've got people like Bill Barr and everybody else out there. That's the one.
Bullshit
That's the
religious
Rubicon they
right
cannot
bullshit
cross.
because nothing
They
in it
cannot
has anything to
ever
do with
say
anything
a Democratic
in any
candidate
Bible
is
I've
an
read.
acceptable candidate to vote for, because that is what's
almost
Puritan-like. Their
Puritan-like.
effort and money and hundreds and billions of dollars trying to create that narrative within their party that Democrats are unacceptable. Right. It doesn't matter if this guy is a fucking criminal that wants to destroy our country. He's not a Democrat.
Well, and you make a good point because that really, I mean, gets to the heart of where they are in their rhetoric. Specifically, Grandpa Poopy Pants. He is freaking the fuck out this morning. I'm freaking out on Fraud Social. Now, normally we only show the ones that are of news, but I think it's newsworthy to show how much he's freaking out this morning. This was him waking up, Gabe Sanchez. This is his wake up message. Good morning, Vietnam. You remember that movie? He wakes up. In all caps, he says, election interference at a level never seen before in our country. You mean like going to Georgia?
What the hell?
Fucking bang up fake electors, or Michigan or Arizona? You mean like pressuring the Speaker of the House in Arizona to overturn the election? Get the fuck out of here.
Why does it sound like Georgia
we'll
may
win
be close?
anyways. Make America great again. Again. I added that last part, but I think that would be appropriate if he would.
I'm sure he'll add as many again as he can.
Well, here's a true sponsor ad. Look, oh man, holsters for guns over on True Social. What do you know?
Yeah. I'm looking at them right now. There's another one I have, which is like how to make belly fat go away. Then there's another one, which was around. It was a gun and it was bulletproof vest.
Oh well, okay.
Like, clearly working to the people who need to arm themselves for the mass shooting they'll commit.
Right. So
that's the advertising you're getting on Truth Social.
Here's him attacking Ron DeSanctimonious, as he calls him this morning. Once people started learning about Ron DeSanctimonious, he says, his poll numbers and popularity started to disintegrate at a level and the speed rarely seen before in American politics, which is completely untrue. I don't know if you remember a guy named Scott Walker from Wisconsin. That guy was going to be the next president of the world. And he was going to control it all. He looked like a president. He talked like a president. He had fended off the recall votes. He's going to be great.
Where
I
is
was
he?
like, fuck you, go back to Wisconsin. And we haven't heard from him since.
Thank you.
But he
Where is
continues to say just an average governor. Look at the stats. With a great PR,
Not an average governor. His insurance is too high.
So
Disney's probably going to kick his ass.
Which I can't.
As a matter of fact, if Disney doesn't kick his ass, he actually will contribute to actually getting rid of Citizens United.
Put off his announcement until June because his numbers were so bad. I'm just reading it like it's written. He also got rid of a ridiculous exploratory committee, quote unquote. Because he didn't like what they were telling him. MAGA! Wow. There he is with Make America Great Again and Again and Again.
It's almost like there's a video or multiple videos of Trump saying how, actually, you know what? I think I have a clip. Give me
let's pull it up. What do you make of some of these crazy statements this morning, Texas Paul, from Grandpa down there at Mar-a-Lago? Is it just me or is he freaking out?
We can see it. I mean, that he's losing his damn mind. I mean, Fonnie Willis has come out and said, next, you're gonna get your indictment in the next cycle of the court, which is coming up in June. He's freaking out, man. I mean, he is completely freaking out. But the righties, his followers, they're morons. They love this stuff. They actually think that this has, some weight behind it. Like, there's something to it when it's really just, oh my God. He's freaking the fuck out.
What, like, you mean like the 20,000 fake bot accounts on True Social?
Yeah, thank you.
Because, see, that's my point.
Thank you. They're mainly bot accounts.
Everyone's upset about it.
And people following him.
One's seeing this shit that he's saying. No one's seeing this shit.
Thank you.
No one watches his fucking videos besides us, and then we show the people who know he's insane. He's insane. Like, no one's watching this shit. And really, honestly, keep producing it because it's going to make great general election ads against your dumbass. But here he is.
It also goes to show you what happened for the pudding ad, right?
Right.
Why is he making attacks against a person who has not announced officially they are running if you don't actually consider them a
viable challenger
or an opponent or someone that you fear, right?
Right, because why waste your money?
You attack it. That's how Trump works.
It's a waste of money.
He attacks it, right? No matter who they are. Could be his own fucking family members.
Doesn't matter.
He attacks it. He sees it as a threat. So if Ron DeSantis hasn't announced he's running, why would, and also it's like, oh, I'm not afraid of Ron DeSantis. Well, then why are you making ads, man?
Thank you.
Right. Well, yeah, but he can
make posts.
He's some pussy ass bitch. That's why.
Look, I love it. I give two shits about Ron DeSantis. But it's like, if you're not afraid of him, why are you talking about it?
Right. Well, I hope Donald Trump does destroy Ron DeSantis. Now, he goes on about the CNN thing this morning. He says, I'll be doing CNN, blah, 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 yakety schmackety. It's great. CNN might be the new Fox News. Why not? That sort of shit. And then he goes on to talk about the E. Jean Carroll trial because he's got he's a caged animal and he ain't just in one cage. He's in like 20 of them. So he's posting about every single corner he's backed into. Here's another corner he's backed into with this waiting this jury's decision on the E. Jean Carroll rape and defamation trial. He says, waiting for a jury decision.
Lies all the way through.
Where I, despite being a current political candidate, which I don't know what the fuck that has to do with you raping her, and leading all others in the both parties, are not allowed to speak and defend myself. Bullshit. The judge gave you a chance, motherfucker. He goes on to say, even as hard-nosed reporters scream questions about this case at me. In the meantime, the other side has a book falsely accusing me of rape and is working with the press. I will therefore not speak until after the trial. Wait, so you want to speak, but you're not going to speak. He says, but will appeal the unconstitutional silence of me as a candidate, no matter the outcome. So it seems to me, Gabe Sanchez and Texas Paul, that Donald Trump here is suspecting that in this civil case, he's going to be convicted of rape and defamation.
He's got to set it up. He's got.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Well, of course, he's got to prime his base to say, look, they are probably going to find me guilty of this thing that I did not do. Wink, wink. Right. Like, but that's how you do it. Right. That's how all of these Republicans work. They prime their base for the situation that's going to happen. And they're going to say, well, the reason I didn't win or the reason I lost.
Wait. I got news on this. Texas Paul. It looks like they could be. It is going to come later today. They are deliberating on the rape and defamation case. It looks like they're going to have to make a decision on the count of rape first, and then they move to the defamation. Have you looked at any of what's going on, and if we're going to hear from this jury today, Texas Paul? Have you found anything on that?
You know, man, I would be surprised if it was a fast verdict. I really would.
Yeah, probably.
Did you see these juries have worked through these things before? They got thrown to the
Friday,
jury.
maybe Monday.
Great, that's wonderful. They're deliberating. I can't see them not at least reviewing trial notes. I can't see them not at least reviewing the evidence one more time, trying to do due diligence. I mean, but yeah, I would expect probably either late today, maybe tomorrow. But this could deliberate. This deliberation could go on for days. It depends on how much they want to go back and really be sure of themselves. I mean,
do you think the longer it goes, the better it is for E. Jean Carroll, or the opposite?
You know, I've heard lawyers repeatedly that have repeatedly said, don't read into that. You don't know. You don't know what they're doing. There's no, if it's quick, it could be quick because they didn't believe shit that the government produced. It could be quick because they've already made up their minds. Mm-hmm. You can't really read into that. I would suspect that they're going to take a day or two to look at the evidence again.
Well, here's more projection from Grandpa. This is in the last hour. Again, he's freaking out today on Fraud Social. Just absolute meltdown. He's posting about Rupert Murdoch. Again, he says, Rupert Murdoch, quote, the worst Republican speaker ever, Paul Ryan. What the fuck? He was your speaker, dude. Rhino Karl Rove. Now, Karl Rove is a Republican in name only, Texas Paul. Get the fuck out of here. He says the Wall Street Globalist Journal and the rapidly disintegrating Fox News have gone all Murdoch, all Rupert. Last 3 months.
Rupert.
Pushing and promoting Ron.
What the hell is he doing?
They haven't. That's a fucking lie.
Why is he shitting on his own people?
The help endorsement of President he referred to himself as Donald J. Trump. President Donald J. Trump would now be working at McDonald's. He's a fucking JAG lawyer, Trump. He's fucking more elite than you are, dummy. Be far away from Tallahassee. Anyways, all this Rhino globalist push for election undenier Murdoch has crashed DeSantis in the polls. No, Ron DeSantis is a fucking weirdo, meatball hand pudding finger motherfucker.
He's a little strange
Ron
boy.
DeSantis is tanking the poll. No one likes him.
Right.
He's unlikable.
Fucking camera
Ron DeSantis
hates Ron DeSantis.
Who the fuck would like Ron? Even Ron DeSantis doesn't like Ron DeSantis. So Grandpa goes on to say here, and I'm going to play the clip, Gabe, here in just a minute about Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump, how he really feels about him. But here's the last True Social that he's posted today within the last hour. He says the Democrats are the party of disinformation, projection. When they
projection,
they want the opposite. my God, he's totally telling on himself here. Don't you see it? Like the upcoming 2024 election, they say they want Trump to be their opponent, but they don't mean it. Yeah, we do, dude. We 100% want you to be the lunatic at the helm of the sinking ship. That's exactly what we want. That's why they are viciously.
Oh my God, this man is insane.
Like persecuting me in every court in the land, every single court. I don't know if
persecuting or prosecuting.
I wish it was, because they don't want to run against me. No, we do, man. We do. We want you to be. We want you to be an indicted motherfucker when you run. They want anybody else. Also, the polls have me leading big against Biden. Also, who gives a shit about polls? I won twice, doing much better the second time, and now
I won twice. No, you barely won the first time, and you lost the second one.
Texas Paul, I can't tell you how much this makes me so happy. This guy is just absolutely digging his political grave and doesn't even know it yet. Doesn't even he can't even see it. That's hilarious. Oh my God.
And the Republicans, I have to tell you, they did not want to jump on this train again. They really didn't. They politically could see the writing on the wall, because if these indictments come through with even this civil case with E. Jean Carroll,
right?
If this doesn't go his way,
yes,
he is going to burn the house to the ground.
Good, right? Yeah,
I'm looking so forward to it.
Let's burn.
I think it's going to be fun
with it, because here he is kissing Ron DeSantis's ass in this clip. Let's listen to how he really feels about sanctimonious.
A governor like Ron DeSantis of Florida is doing a great job.
Oh, yeah,
We're
great.
in play school, Florida.
Ooh,
and we have a great governor. Great governor. Knows exactly what he's doing. Terrific job. He just announced.
Knows exactly what he's doing.
In the fall. Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, who's done a...
who's sitting exactly like him, like a dumbass.
DeSantis doing a fantastic job.
Go back.
You want to see them sit next to each other?
Yeah. Notice the hands, right? Notice the posture.
Yeah.
All the fucking same, dude.
Right.
All the fucking same.
He's copying him. I do have to say that the last couple videos of Ron DeSantis that I've seen where he's in front of a podium, he's really let down his Trump impersonation. He's not impersonating Trump anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's the challenge he's having, because he's trying not to act like Trump anymore. But now he's such a fucking weirdo that he doesn't even know who he is. That's why he's doing all
because he doesn't have a personality. He's stolen all of his bullshit from. He's a shit.
Yeah, well, when you're fucking,
he's a bullshit artist
of meatballs and chocolate pudding. You're only going to be as good as the thing you copy, right?
Thank you.
Meatballs filled with pudding and MAGA flags. That's what it is.
Balls.
So we could go on and play this.
Yeah.
You're filled with puddings and balls.
So this whole thing. There's
he's
other
the best governor ever. Best governor. Oh, he's great.
He props him up and says he's great.
I'm going to get out of here. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Gotta praise him.